Yeah, now it is recording. Okay. So we synthesize organolithium compounds by taking alkyl halide and this lithium in presence of a aprotic solvent like hexane, definitely under nitrogen. It has to be definitely under inert condition to form RLi and LiX. If you see here, this Li was like zero oxidation state, that is the metallic state. But in the product, you see that in RLi also, R is minus, Li is plus. Here also you have the umpolang. Rx, R was positive, X was minus. RLi, R is minus, X is plus. So here also umpolang happens. But what I wanted to attract your attention is RLi, the Li is plus 1 oxidation state. In LiX also Li is plus 1, X is minus 1, correct? So here it is 0, here it is plus 1, and that is why it is called oxidative insertion. So basically lithium is undergoing oxidation in this process. Okay. Now this one is very important if we want to understand, if we want to know their property and comparison with Grignard reagent. And this is where the distinction comes. Lithium is more electropositive than magnesium, correct? Because lithium is little bit upside on the periodic table, so it is more electropositive than magnesium. So this carbon lithium bond is more ionic than carbon magnesium bond. So that means the charge separation for the lithium species or the lithium reagent is more. And because of this factor, these alkyl lithium reagents are more nucleophilic than Grignard reagent. I would say more active, more reactive than the Grignard reagent. So alkyl lithium reagents are more reactive and more kind of rigorous than the Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent is a bit milder. Of course, these are also very sensitive to moisture or to exposure to your ambient, because it will immediately capture moisture and Grignard reagent will be killed, will be gone, destroyed. So in both the cases, you cannot expose it to air, and this organolithium reagent are very dangerous if you are using in a large scale, because they can catch fire. There was a very big accident happened somewhere in the US. One lady was working with a lot of like half a kilo of butyl lithium, and it caught fire and a very big accident happened. Okay. What I don't mean to scare you, but what I mean is that you need to know their characteristic. There are company who is working maybe more than a kilogram scale, but they are safe. So we need to know their characteristic. When we know the characteristic and use, we remain safe. Okay. So the point here I want to make is alkyl lithium compound is more reactive than alkyl magnesium compounds, okay, or the Grignard reagent. Second point here is lithium is smaller in size than magnesium. So alkyl lithium compound experience less steric crowding. That is why it can act as a better nucleophile when your carbonyl compounds are a bit sterically crowded. Okay. Yeah, this point I already mentioned. Organolithiums are very reactive. So when this alkyl magnesium reagent or the Grignard reagent can react at room temperature, or sometimes you need heating. But organolithium reagent, for example butyl lithium, they most of the time work at very low temperature, like at minus 78 degrees Celsius. If you bring them at room temperature, those reagents will be destroyed on its own. Okay, so that is why we need very low temperature for operation. Okay, this part is more or less same as before. Before I go, yeah.
Like Grignard reagent first act as base and search for bonds like OH, NH, SH.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah,
In the
that
same
that
way, lithium carbon group also does the same, or first they act as nucleophile then base, or first base then nucleophile.
I could not understand your question very clearly. Please tell me again.
So, like Grignard reagent first search for bonds like OH, NH, SH.
Yes, yes, yes. Of course. Yeah.
They act as base then nucleophile. In the
Yes.
same way, organolithium compounds first act as base or first act as nucleophile.
No. First act as base every time. Okay.
Okay.
This is very general rule. Every time if you have a base, I mean if you have a proton, acidic proton, it will go for it. For butyl lithium, you do not need even acidic proton. If you add water or if you have alcohol or something, it will catch that proton also. Okay, it's so reactive. That is why it can catch fire. No, so yeah. So yeah, these are very reactive, and always this rule is valid for organolithium and organomagnesium, that when you have an acidic proton or a proton which can be easily abstracted, they will take that proton and then it will go for the nucleophilic attack. For organolithium compound, there is another very interesting, that is actually called transmetallation. I will discuss about that after like couple of slides. Okay. Yeah, so common lithium reagents are basically this butyl lithium, N-butyl lithium, which is very common. I mean, almost all the laboratory will have this N-butyl lithium. Another things are methyl lithium and phenyl lithium. Okay, these are also are used. These two reactions are same as Grignard reagent, as you have seen in the last class. If you take aldehyde, you will get 2-degree alcohol. If you take ketone, you get 3-degree alcohol. There is nothing big deal because you have just one hydrogen, so that hydrogen makes it a 2-degree, and you do not have a hydrogen, so it becomes a 3-degree. Okay, same as before. Yeah. So the transmetallation that I was talking about is mainly attributed for aromatic substances. When you have, let's say, benzene, I mean bromobenzene. Okay, so those kind of substances are a very good substrate for organolithium compound for the transmetallation. But when you take, let's say, alkyne, acetylene sort of moiety, these hydrogens are also acidic. As you know, the sp character of this carbon is very high. This carbon is also becomes acidic, and that is why butyl lithium can take this proton to form the negative charge or the Cli bond. Okay, and these can be used in many different reactions, so they can act as a intermediate for various transformations. Okay, yeah, the transmetallation or it is actually named as ortholithiation. Okay, when you have a nucleophilic or let's say chelating moiety here, then what happens, this ortho hydrogen is sometimes get abstracted with a lithium atom. So how it happens is you have a intramolecular cyclic transition state where this lone pair uh, is bound to this lithium, and then this butyl negative takes up this proton negative charge, and then it is finally this lithium actually comes here to form this Cli bond. Okay, this is called ortholithiation. This works for the alkoxy group or for the amine groups. If you have alkoxy groups, then also this will happen. If you have amine groups, because amine, it also has a lone pair, it can also chelate with this lithium positive, and then the butyl negative can take this proton that was here to form this lithium. And now these moieties or these species, this kind of species could also become your active reagent for various transformation. For example, in this case, you take benzaldehyde and it can attack here to form this kind of compound. There is one example I think we have, that is synthesis of this antifungal or fungicide. It's called phenarimon. So you basically take this kind of moiety, add butyl lithium, it's lithiated here, then take this kind of another intermediate, so that you get this kind of compound, which is basically a antifungal agent. Okay, this reaction that is shown here is a very ideal example of transmetallation. Okay, in our chemistry, like if you are working in some sort of conjugated molecules, then you will see that this reaction is extensively used. So you have various different aromatic groups, and then you have the halogen substitution. Making halogen substitution is quite easy. Just do NBS reaction or bromine reaction to add a bromine, and then you use this butyl lithium to lithiate it, so that your aromatic site now becomes nucleophilic here. It becomes nucleophilic, and then if you want to add some functional group, add that chemical and you can easily insert here. So that is why this reaction becomes really efficient when you want to make, let's say, some aromatic molecules or some crucial steps to increase the conjugation or some functionality. Okay, so basically what you do is you take aromatic halogen compound like bromobenzene, and then this lithium actually replaces this butyl, actually attacks to this bromine, and then this negative charge is replaced by this lithium. So you get this the phenyl lithium or aromatic lithium moiety, which where this carbon center now becomes your negatively charged. So this can attack to different substance, let's say something like this, to form this kind of compound. Of course, here you have two nitrogen, but yeah, okay, it's a little bit different. But remember this reaction. This reaction is very crucial in terms of your practical application I'm talking about. Okay. Another very crucial thing, this one is also a very important thing, is whenever you take, apart from, let's say, smaller groups of lithium compound, let's say methyl lithium or N-butyl, normal butyl lithium, those are still quite okay for reaction. But when you consider this kind of organolithium compounds, something like tertiary butyl lithium, these are actually a little bit more reactive than the N-butyl lithium. You can easily understand the reason. This methyl group has plus I effect, so the negative charge density here is very high. Okay, so these are very highly reactive. Now there is a side reaction that happens. Okay, what do you do? Let's say you take this organolithium compound and you take a bromobenzene, for example. What reaction it will do? It will form phenyl lithium. If you take bromobenzene, then the benzene and lithium, that is phenyl lithium, and this one and bromine, like this one, you will form. Did you understand this? I do not have the board, I could not draw it, so please understand it, imagine it. Like here, you have butyl lithium and bromobenzene. What it forms? Phenyl lithium and butyl bromide. Correct? Same reaction. You have tertiary butyl lithium and, let's say, bromobenzene. You get phenyl lithium plus butyl bromide, tertiary butyl bromide. Correct? Now, once this forms, then what happens? This negative charge, which is very reactive, it takes up one of these proton to form an alkene. Okay, and this as a, there will be an alkene. Okay, so in your medium, let's say you have taken 100 molecule of phenyl lithium and 100 molecule of butyl lithium. Then after converting 50 molecule of butyl lithium into this one, another 50 molecule will not react with your bromobenzene but will take this proton to form this alkene. So your reaction will be only half done. Got it? Got my point? Let's say you take 50 molecules of phenyl lithium and bromobenzene. You take 50 molecule of bromobenzene and you take 100 okay, you take 100 molecules of bromobenzene and 100 molecule of butyl lithium. Okay, now let's say it reacts with 50 molecule of bromobenzene to make 50 molecules of butyl bromide. Then another 50 molecule of this which is left takes up this proton and destroy this one. So this will be destroyed. So only 50 molecules of your bromobenzene will be reacted. Another 50 will not be reacted because another 50 is employed to destroy this compound. That is why here you need two equivalent of butyl lithium to complete the conversion. Okay, got it? Everybody understood it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, this is just an extension uh, of the previous ortholithiation that I mentioned. In this case, you have now two oxygen lone pairs for the chelation. So you can imagine that the ortholithiation in this place would be much faster, and then you can take CO2 and it will form this COOH. Some sort of an example plus a transformation. Okay. Okay. We are mostly done for this class, but okay, some more here. Primary alcohol, if you take again this kind of alkyne, then as you know, this hydrogen is acidic in nature. Use in butyl lithium, it will take this proton to form CLI bond. Use formaldehyde and water, second step water, so then it will form CH2H. So you can make this kind of molecule. These are basically some of the reaction sequence where you can use butyl lithium to convert this kind of to introduce certain functionality. Okay, this is again the same aldehyde. You get 2 degree alcohol, ketone you get 3 degree alcohol. We just did it. Okay, here are some more problems. First is, let's say you take cyclohexanone, take butyl lithium, so it can attach in this to form 3 degree alcohol. This example is a bit interesting. So in the previous class we saw 1,2 versus 1,4 addition of an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, correct? So yeah, let's say we take an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, something like this, and we add butyl lithium. Then what we see here is that in this case, here your aldehyde is more reactive, correct? And that is why butyl lithium, this butyl negative, will attack here to form this kind of 2 degree alcohol. But instead of aldehyde, if we take an amide, you know amides are very less reactive than aldehydes because these two lone pairs are in conjugation with this double bond O. Okay, these lone pairs are in conjugation with this double bond O. That is why the electrophilicity of this carbon decreases very much. In this kind of cases, 1,4, this center becomes more reactive. So in this case, 1,4 addition becomes predominant. So you get this kind of molecule, this kind of product. Okay. Okay. This one you have already learned a little bit, the half of it. So, for example, when we take Grignard reagent, what does it happen when we add carbon dioxide? We take Grignard reagent and we take carbon dioxide. Then this the R minus of that Grignard reagent attack to this carbon dioxide, and once you protonate it, you form RCOOH, that is a carboxylic acid. For organolithium reagent also this is the same. If you take one equivalent of organolithium and then if you take carbon dioxide bubble to it, then what will happen? This R minus will react to this carbon center, and after protonation it will form carboxylic acid. But so these two are basically same. Either you take Grignard reagent or you take alkyl lithium. If you react with carbon dioxide and water, after that aqueous quenching, you get carboxylic acid for a common thing. But now there is another situation where we take excess amount of alkyl lithium. Okay, when this alkyl lithium is present in excess, then this reaction takes a different path. What is that path? First, this alkyl lithium react to this carbon center as usual to form this kind of RC double bond OOLI. Okay. Now, if you have excess of this alkyl lithium, then this R minus will attack again to this carbon center. Now you would say, sir, this carbon center is not that reactive because this O negative will come here, it is in resonance, so it's not reactive. Here actually this Li plus OLi bond is a bit more stronger, and it is towards equivalent character. Okay, and that is why this negative charge giving extent decreases. Of course, it is also in resonance. There is no way to deny it, but it is decreases because of the strong OLi bond, which is little bit covalent like character. So that is why this carbon center's electrophilicity does not decrease as much it should have decreased. Okay, that is why. And again, if you have excess of RLi, then this is very highly reactive. So this R minus would further attack to this carbon center. So you get a dianionic species where you have two R and two OLi OLi. Okay, it's a tetrahedral intermediate which it's a dianionic species. Then if you quench with aqueous acid or H3O plus, then you get a hydrate. And as you know, hydrate means you can do the dehydration to form this ketone. This is a reversible reaction, right? You have already studied. So here you get a ketone instead of an acid. So if you have just one equivalent of this RLi, you end up at this stage, then you acidify it, you get the carboxylic acid. But if you have an excess of this RLi, then this species will undergo further attack to generate this dianionic species, which after hydrolysis forms this hydrate, and which after dehydration will form this ketone. Clear? Okay.
Intermediate. So why that is
Yeah, tell me again.
why that tetrahedral intermediate is stable?
Okay, I would not. Okay, it is written stable because I think it is written. It was written in the book, but I would not call it very stable because I would not call it very stable, but it could be stabilized because of this two OLi bond, which is covalent in nature. That is why maybe it is called as stable. And another reason, maybe the book has called it stable because you indeed get the hydrate. If it is very unstable, it would not come to this stage. It would be totally destroyed to form something else. So because it is stable not in the sense that you can isolate it. Stable in the sense that it can form, okay, in that sense, okay, so that it forms and it can lead to further reaction. If it is very unstable, then once it forms, it would immediately convert into something else. It's not that unstable. It is stable so that you can carry forward the reaction in the next step. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then there are some transformation again. So in this case, by following the same, okay, don't follow this thing very. Uh, don't think that this happens as it is, because you have OH here, you have hydrogen here. If you add this, it does not convert immediately. So you have to take 3.5 more equivalent, right? What it will do? It will first take this acidic proton, which is most acidic. Then another equivalent will take OH, this proton, which is little bit less acidic than this one. Then whatever 1.5 equivalent excess you left, that will attack to this carbon center to form a dianionic species. Then you add H3O plus to form the ketone. Okay, I have not shown the mechanism, but don't think that if you add one equivalent, it will just attack here and do no. It will take all those protons and after that it will react here. Clear? Got it?
Sir, can you please repeat it again?
Yeah, what I am saying here is that when you take this ethyl lithium, we said this is 3.5 equivalent. If you take one equivalent, this reaction will not happen, simply because ethyl lithium will take this acidic proton first. So we have to take 3.5 equivalent, or in simple terms, you can call it excess. What does it do? First equivalent will go to pick up this proton, correct? Because this is the most acidic, carboxylic acid, most acidic proton. Second is the reaction still does not happen. This reaction still does not happen. Second equivalent of ETLI goes to pick up this proton, because this is OH, acidic proton. Third equivalent will go to attack here to form a dianionic intermediate, because first equivalent has already taken up this proton to form a C double bond O OLI. It has formed in the first equivalent. In the third equivalent, then react here to form this kind of dianionic intermediate. Okay, and after that, if you acidify it, then it will form hydrate, and after dehydration, it forms the ketone, like this one. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is the last slide for today. We are finishing very early today. So this reaction also you have seen in case of lithium aluminum hydride, and here also we see similar kind of reaction, not exactly the same but similar. What it does is, we take, let's say, an alkyl lithium or aryl lithium reagent, this negative charge attack here, you form this stable tetrahedral intermediate. Again, I think this stable is mentioned because this species does not destroy itself. In that aspect, it says stable. Okay, and then if you protonate, it will take up this proton, and then NMe2 will also take a proton to form NMe2 plus, which is a good leaving group. It goes away and it forms the aldehyde. Okay, so these are very small transformation. Let's say in the exam, I can give you how can you convert, let's say, DMF, dimethyl formamide, into benzaldehyde in, let's say, 2 steps involving an organolithium reagent. Okay, then you can write this kind of answer. Okay, so today's session was not very large, it was a bit short, so we will stop here today, and tomorrow we'll have this exam mainly on the organo magnesium reagent, that is the Grignard reagent. So study well. It will be, I was initially planning for 16 marks, but now I will make it on the 20 marks. Okay, it will be similar, like 1.5 hour maybe. So yeah, again, all the marks are added, so yeah, take it in that way. Yeah,
Sir,
anybody has
can
a
you
question?
tell us the timing?
Timing will be 1.5 hours, 5 to 6:30. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you are giving the writing time as 1.5 hours, or do we have to submit it within that time?
These are basically very short questions, you know.
Okay, sir.
The small answer you have to write. 1 hour should be enough, but I'm just giving you 1.5 hours so that everything remains in the same side, safe side. Okay. It's not a very big answer you have to write, but give 1 or 2 line explanation. Then I would know that you really know it and you have written it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So in this slide, this organolithium reagents are not included in
No,
tomorrow's test.
it will not be included. Yeah, it will
Okay.
not be.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, I can include maybe one question from organolithium. Okay, just one question will be coming from organolithium because I have taught it here. Maybe just include one question. Okay. Okay then.
Yes.
See you then on Monday. And
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, yeah.
Can you please move to the slide number 9?
Slide number 9. Yeah.
Sir, you are saying that this 3.5 equivalent will take 3 acidic hydrogens, right?
2 acidic hydrogens.
Here there is another acidic hydrogen beside the carbon which is beside the carboxylic acid.
This one, no, the tertiary one. This is
Yes,
what.
sir. Yes.
Yeah, generally, I think you would not consider this as a acidic hydrogen because once this OH is taken, so this is O negative, right? So this is O negative, and if this proton is taken, this is also negative. Two negative charges cannot stay together, no? So this the acidity of this proton is very, very less, isn't it? This is not, yeah, this is not considered as very acidic. If this is an ester and if this is not there, then it would be an acidic. But because these two are there, once this ETLI takes up this proton, it forms O negative. And because O negative is there, the acidity of this proton decreases drastically. Okay. Okay. Very nice.
So,
Yeah.
sir, could we please keep this organolithium for the next test because we already have to practice the stereochemistry part of the previous syllabus and yesterday's slides also.
Okay. Okay, then we can postpone it for the next exam. Okay. So okay,
Yes,
only
sir. Thank you.
organol, yeah, magnesium compound, lignin. Okay, just hold on. I will download your attendance. Okay, that is all. So we can leave for today, and tomorrow is your exam.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.